Before you guys start watching this video, realize that I am not pro-Scientology, I am not anti-Scientology. I just went to this thing to get at least one side of the story as to what was going on. So take that as you will. So right now I'm actually walking down to the Church of Scientology, like the main area in Hollywood that the Scientologists gather. And apparently there's a group of people called the Anonymous that are going to protest Scientology and its practices, and they want to expose it for what it is. So I'm going to go down to this protest and see what it's all about, see how legit it is. This is pretty crazy. They're all going to be wearing like masks, Beaver Vendetta masks. It's just weird. Alright, anyway, we're going to check it out. Bye. During this whole protest, I interviewed / just listened to 3 different types of people. The first type of person was just a young person who was mad about how Scientology practices what it does and how it treats its people.
In the 1970s, the Church of Scientology coordinated massive raids of U.S. federal offices to steal and destroy sensitive documents and hinder investigation to the church.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
It all seemed a bit preachy and rehearsed to me, but hey, to each their own. Next, I actually got to talk to a guy who had been involved with the Church of Scientology for about 4 years. You said something about breaking up families? Like, how are they breaking up families, Scientology?
There's a disconnection policy in Scientology, which means that if you are associated with somebody that is critical of or antagonistic to Scientology, you first try to handle it, and if you don't, you are forced by the church to either end that relationship or leave the church.
Right.
To give you an idea, I was so separated from my family, even when they weren't antagonistic, that when my mother called to say that my stepfather had passed away, I didn't get the message for 4 days.
Wow.
My church seniors didn't find it important enough to interrupt my training to tell me that my stepfather had passed away.
Talk to me about Tom Cruise. What are your thoughts on Tom Cruise and his involvement?
I don't think Tom Cruise is I honestly don't think he's a bad guy.
Right.
I don't think he is necessarily aware of, and it's present in his mind, the abuses that are going, because those abuses aren't going to him.
Right.
Tom Cruise is not making $11 a week like I did. He's exactly where many Scientologists were. He is at the height of his fervor. He is at the height of his zealotry. And I can only hope that at some point he realizes that he's a likable guy. He's obviously a very charismatic guy. He wouldn't have a career otherwise. And it would be a shame to throw it all away because of religious zealotry.
And finally, I actually got to talk to a woman who had been involved with the Church of Scientology for years, got to a very high level, and then decided she wanted to leave. And this is kind of what happened to her.
Yes.
So tell people who you are.
My name's Tori Christman. I was in Scientology for 30 years, and I escaped out literally in 2000.
Now, what made you?
They chased me across the country.
They chased you across. What made you get out in the first place?
They're kind of like a pyramid, and I paid my way and worked my way up to the top, same level Tom Cruise was at. And I was also in kind of a top secret gang that was actually opening up phony accounts on the internet trying to stop free speech on the net. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Once I realized that, I said, I can't do this. I'm for free speech.
Okay.
And they slammed me and said, hey, you know, they were horrible.
Now they chased you across the country, you said? What happened there?
First of all, they canceled my van in Burbank, California.
Okay.
I got finally to the airport, the plane was canceled.
Wow.
Now, whether they did that or not, I don't know. But I was chased. The vice president came up to me, said, we know where, the vice president of Scientology came up to me and said, we know where you're going, you're not talking to those people. Tampa airport, the cops got me out of the Tampa airport in 2000.
Wow. I stayed at the demonstration. I talked to a bunch of people. Unfortunately, ran out of room on my camera to video, but what I will say is that this group of people called the Anonymous, they demonstrated They were very passionate about what they were doing. However, they didn't do it in a destructive way. So I applaud them for that. This is where I open up the forums to you guys. What do you think about the Church of Scientology, pro or against? How do you feel about some of the things you've heard that they've done? I mean, are you a Scientologist? Argue for, because I didn't get to talk to any Scientologists at this rally. I want to hear the other side of it. If you have the other side of it, if you have an argument against it, let's create a discussion. Also, if you would like to see more footage of what went on there, I'm currently involved with a project that involves mobile streaming units. And I actually had a unit with me and interviewed people on camera. And if you go to www.livetv.com/livetv/jungleboy, I'll put that in the description, you can go to the archives and see some of the places that I went, people that I talked to further than what you saw here. So I hope to hear from you guys. Go check it out. Thanks.